It was. You know who it is. And you tuned in with Priceless Knowledge Itself. And I came to bring you some cosmic insight on the late night hype. It's November 9th, 2020. And what's great. Tonight we're going to talk about what it means to have Pluto in the first house of your natal chart. You know, I want to talk about this because I have Pluto in the first house of my natal chart. And this particular placement is quite dear to me because I think a lot of the experiences I went through by having this placement has brought the strength of character that I have today, and also has brought the changed man that you have looking into the camera at you right now, because I really used to be on some more shit, man. And all I can do is try to make amends and keep going. So before I get into what it could mean to have Pluto in the first house of your chart, a lot of the characteristics, personality traits, maybe some of the life experiences and things you have to deal with, I want to talk about what Pluto actually means in astrology and what the first house is in your astrological chart. So when we talk about Pluto, we have what I call the Great Revealer. It's the planet of sex, death, depth, intensity, magnetism, transformation, regeneration, domination, and rebirth. It resides in the primordial ooze of your character. And Pluto kind of rises up from the ether, man. And it releases these pockets of personal power that you get, you know, by facing these traumatic experiences or having emotional revelations, you know, by self-provoked events or outside projected events. And in your birth chart, Pluto shows the areas of life where you'll personally face intense power struggles and where you might face creation through destruction. So that's why I call Pluto myself the planet of creative destruction, especially has been in my life in particular, you know. Pluto's power is often feared, man. And that's because it's not understood. And something that's far off from the light is usually not understood, you know. Like I said, Pluto's out there, man, but it's so powerful, man. You can't deny its presence. And so, you know, wherever you have Pluto in your chart, I'm going to say it shows you a big showdown between your greatest fears of losing yourself and whatever you desire the most, man. And I'm going to tell you that you might as well surrender, because Pluto is going to do something to transform you through this process in wherever house this is in. So with that being said, let's talk about like what the first house is in your astrological chart. The first house in astrology, is the house of self. And on the cusp of the first house is your ascendant. And your ascendant is the sign that was rising in the east at the exact moment you were born. And if any of y'all do not know where your ascendant is, but you do have your time of birth and exact place of birth, if you want to shoot me your details in a private email, I'll be glad to get you your chart for you and do that for free so that you can know where that is and, you know, find some priceless knowledge yourself through that. And, you know, the first house is where we have beginnings. It kind of represents our adolescence and early childhood. It contains our appearance, our apparent personality, our approach to life. The first house is kind of the vehicle with which we try to get to who we're trying to become, both externally and internally. And the first house is how each of us comes across in this physical world of existence. You know, the first house might contain the physical body, especially the head and face. The first house is, you know, where you ask yourself the questions: who are you, and what will you become? You know, what is your highest potential? What do you really need? You know, and have you had it? And the first house just shapes, you know, what you're gonna do and how you're gonna operate through life. You know, it's really you know, a lot to do with the outer shell, but it is a lot about who it made you are internally at the same time, you know. And when I talk about the first house, the last thing I want to say, it just represents our personality and our presentation to the physical world of our demeanor, you know, and it's what you're projecting. So when you have Pluto in your first house, you know, the first thing people are going to talk about appearance wise is having piercing eyes. You know, the type that'll look deep into your soul. And these people might have a cold, calm, calculated demeanor, maybe tattoos and piercings. They project this intensity that when these people walk into a room, you feel them walk into the room. You know what I mean? You don't notice them because of their behavior. You feel their presence when they enter into your space because they have a magnetic energy. And it also could be a repulsive energy if you can't be with it. So most of the time, these people are either loved and hated off the rip. And these people have this power because they've been through a lot of tough things. You know, Pluto in the first house, you know, it can bring a lot of traumatic events. It brings sometimes an obsession with sex and death because you find this familiarity and understanding of it from a very young age. You know, I have Pluto in the first house, and my father wasn't necessarily sexually abusive to me, but he was definitely inappropriate, and I was shown inappropriate things from a young age, you know, and was familiar with things I probably should have been familiar with off the rip and doing things I shouldn't have been doing, you know, around the neighborhood at a very young age, you know. And I have Pluto in the first house, and I found my mama dead when I was 13 years old. You know, and it wasn't pretty, but, you know, I know that going through that made me as strong as who I am. And my mama was awesome, and her spirit lives through me. You know, Pluto in the first house gives you a spiritual understanding from off the rip that you know that there's something greater than yourself. And there is power in that. You know, Pluto in the first house, people are empathetic. But sometimes, if they're in their lower vibration, they can use that empathy to be manipulative, especially sexually manipulative, because these people are usually going to be very attractive in a way that they are magnetic. You know, you have things like Libras that are very pretty, but, you know, when you have this scorpionic energy with Pluto in the first house, you have this dangerous, sexy energy, you know, there's somebody that might do something to you, you know. And the thing is, if they do have this soul merging experience with people, you know, it's going to be something dynamic because these people are healers and they're going to give your body what it needs in that situation. And not everybody can handle getting their body getting what they need without getting emotionally, you know, thrown off. And then that's when you have obsession and obsessive situations, you know, and these people have to deal with that because they have that going both ways. You know, these people, they're very private about their affairs, and they're extremely probably secretive. So much secretive that they keep a lot of secrets even from their self. There's things about their self that they're still discovering on a daily basis. You know, Pluto in the first house is all about this person, their self is constantly changing on a daily basis. When you see a person with Pluto in the first house when they're 13, they're not going to be the same when they're 17. They're not going to be the same when they're 23. They're not going to be the same when they're 31. They're not going to be the same when they're 37. They're not going to be the same when they're 38. They're not going to be the same when they're 46. You get what I'm saying? Like, these people are not going to look the same, and they're not going to be the same. You're going to meet different people at different points in their life, and it's because of the experience that they went through. And through tough shit that they often put themselves through, they just find these periods of extreme spiritual growth and ascension. And I know this because I experience it myself all the time. I bump my head and then I learn something. You know, the spiritual awakening I'm going through is because of my own dumbass actions, you know. And I've been dealing with it internally, and it's brought a great period of growth. But I still got a long ways to go, man. So never think that I think I got it figured out. You know, these people with Pluto in the first house, when I say they're secret and private, they never share their personal feelings about much with anyone, even their most close loved ones. You know, they love to let people assume. Like, even if y'all are having a conversation about deep emotional things and feelings, they will talk, but you'll realize at the end of the conversation when y'all are separated that they really never shared how they really feel about anything. And they never do. Even in arguments in depth, like, they protect pieces of themselves from everyone. So much so that, like, when you deal with someone that has Pluto in the first house, like, the things that they keep away from themselves is not the same thing with every person. Like, the thing that he keeps from this person might be something that this person well knows about him. And the thing he keeps from that person might be something that he keeps, is totally fine sharing with another person. To where if you ask 10 different people about this individual, who they are, you're going to get 10 different answers. But they'll all be intense. When I say intense, these people are not attention seeking. They're attention grabbing. And, they are extremely sexual people, and a lot of times, a lot of them had to deal with sexual abuse when they were young. That's what Pluto in the first house brings. Even stronger than Chiron, it brings regeneration through trauma and healing. Pluto is going to bring the house to you and the world to you, but it's not gonna bring it to you warm. It's gonna give it to you raw. And not in the same way that Saturn does, because Saturn will make you go get it, and Pluto is gonna serve it to you. And a lot of the things I want to sum it up with them is, like, these people, like myself, like, they're not scared of much, and when they are scared of something, like, the thing they're scared of most is being scared. They have a fear of being afraid. So when they're scared of something, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to research it to the fullest, investigate the depths of it, so find out everything they can do about it to see if it can be destroyed, and then they're going to go face that fear. They are terrified of being afraid. And, the last thing I want to say, man, is, no matter what you have Pluto in your chart, just remember, man, it's for your own good, man. Because it's going to bring regeneration, man. It's going to bring rebirth of your character, man. And if you have it in the first house, man, just understand, man, that you ain't nowhere near where you're going to be. You just got to keep trucking. Stop resisting the change. You know what I mean? And you ain't got to always bump your head to get to the change. You feel me? And so, this has been some priceless knowledge yourself, man. If you like the video, I ask you to please like, share, and subscribe. If you're interested in any type of astrological reading or numerology reading, I ask you to please hit me up in the comments below or email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com. And just remember, man, no matter what you got to go through, no matter what ghetto, gutter, shadow, valley you got to go through, you built to make it through. But just because you're built to make it through this type of shit, don't mean you have to build with that type of shit, man. And so, just because you build like that, don't mean you got to build like that. This has been some priceless knowledge yourself.